Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to day number 2 here of the DreamHack PUBG Showdown, as we are getting ready to get into Groups A and C. For Group A, it is their last chance saloon to try and move through into the main event. However, for Group C, it is just their first play day to get those points on the board. My name's Kyle Laris, and joining me today, I have Hypoc and Toby here. Boys, I'm excited. Hypoc, you're in England. How are you doing, my friend?
That's great. Yeah, the weather's great. The food's great. We've got some PUBG to play, which is also great. So, you know, a happy lockdown, I'd say.
A happy lockdown. I like it a lot. Toby, how are you doing as well, my friend?
I'm doing just fine, thanks. It's it's quiet days in terms of your daily life, but good to see a lot of PUBG going on, and glad to see DreamHack back at it. It's been a while, so glad to have them on board once more.
Yeah, definitely so. And I actually have to extend that thank you once again for them having us here along for the ride. It's always good to see esports continue to prevail, even though there's always extreme circumstances. I feel like we have to deal with that offline a lot, so why not deal with that online and just keep getting on with it, I suppose. Let's talk about how everything has gone down so far, of course, because yesterday we had Groups A and B competing against one another, which was fantastic to see. Group A, especially Toby, when we actually looked at the very top of that board as a whole, a very, very impressive performance.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when we look at it right here, big surprise to me is that not only, I mean, Wildcats getting out on top, that's not too surprising looking at the group, but the amount of kills they were able to rack up. I don't normally see Wildcat as a very, despite their name, very aggressive team, but they were able to rack up a ton of kills yesterday. She created and Rupture both 15 per player in just 6 games. Yeah. That's real impressive.
Yeah, very good stuff. Hypoc, when you look at a team like Fast Pay Wildcats at the top, surely as a pro player, doing that well in one day across, you know, your 2 days of game time, that is going to have to fill you with so much confidence.
Yeah, I mean, on the flip side of that as well, having to now, you know, having in this format, we obviously got 3 groups here. So having that performance and then knowing that, you know, we can put our feet up. We've got like a day to play with. We've also got a day we don't play now. That's a fantastic position to be in. Again, just to second Toby's thoughts there, 49 kills on the day. That's, at least from what I've seen of the Wildcats, was a massive surprise. Another one worth noting, obviously, Tempest is probably one we would have expected to have, you know, a similar stat line in terms of massive kill performance. But again, finishing in 3rd place overall. Nice chicken dinner spread as well. That's one thing I will say. We've got a couple of teams, 5, 6, and 7. We've got the Domination, No Age Limit, and Team Diamond. Again, getting themselves into the top 8 in that position without a chicken dinner, fantastic place to be in after day 1.
Yeah, definitely so. It almost felt like destiny, I think, for Fast Pick Wildcats after having 2 second places with 10 kills, Toby, and then the final game with the 19 kills. That was huge for them in day 1.
That's madness. I mean, we've talked about it so many times before. I believe Toffees once said like 15 kills is something we see every now and again. Every single kill you get above that, statistically, it just becomes that much more impossible. So being able to bring home a 19 kill game like that, that's wild.
Definitely so. Let's take a look at the prize pool as well, because I was supposed to look at that before the standings, and little dirt me decided not to do so. So first place, $6,500 for number 1. Of course, these numbers represent the main event, which is going to be happening in a week or so, or at least starting in a week or so's time. So this isn't for right now. If you get top 8 in this, it's not for right now. If you get top 8 here, you are merely qualifying through to play against all of those invited teams. And Hypoc, when you look at the invited teams that are here for the main tournament itself, those are the big guns. Those are the big names that all of these teams are aspiring to go up against. Yeah,
I mean, the grand finals is going to be a stacked lobby regardless, just based on the invite teams alone. You know, you've got the big names, FaZe, Liquid and stuff. You know, the eyes-on teams, I'll say, the ones to watch. But one thing about the prize pool, it makes me very nostalgic. We're feeling like late 2017, 2018 online PUBG again. That's a fantastic feeling.
Yeah, got to get it done, my friend. Got to get it done now. So let's kind of focus on what we actually have today, because it will be A versus C. Obviously, Toby, we saw A play out things yesterday, and whilst B was able to take the 3 top spots yesterday, we have always rank 1 with 41 points. They did all right for themselves, but all of these teams, they're not finding themselves in comfortable positions just yet.
Yeah, and I think if you were any of those teams, you would probably rather sit today out, because you won't have any idea coming into tomorrow. You'll be sitting back and watching like Group B were doing today, and you would want to know tomorrow, guys, we need these 30 points to make it top 8. now they're saying, oh, like, we just got to make up for what we didn't do yesterday. But how much is that, right? I mean, of course, if you get 100 points and they can get 70 points, like we saw yesterday from Wildcats, that's great. But you don't really have any idea of what's going to be needed. So step it up and then go out and slaughter. You'll have to. Definitely
so. Hypoc, are there names that stand out for you here in today's lobby?
I mean, in terms of standing out for me, it's going to be from a points perspective. You look at Diamond and Mutiny; those are the two that I'm going to be watching. They kind, middle of the pack yesterday. Diamond is 6th place, Mutiny in 10th. Again, Entropy, another team that's playing today, they had a dreadful day, absolutely dreadful day yesterday. Other than that, it's going to be good to see both Besiktas rosters go in the same lobby here. But yeah, those are going to be the ones, and that's purely from a point standpoint. Maybe need to pick up some of the slack from yesterday, maybe just easing themselves in. But Diamond and Mutiny are where my eyes are going to be for today.
There's nothing quite like an esport and having two of the same name team rosters in the same game. Thankfully, they're going to be different colors. Don't worry, that is fine. Toby, how about yourself? Any standouts there from that lineup today?
I've had the pleasure of casting some of these teams in some previous tournaments, and one team that I think people might not think too much of simply because they probably don't know them too well is Nuclear Penguins. It's not a team that, I mean, the players aren't pop-out players to me. Most analysts or casters probably won't recognize a lot of them either. I've just seen time and time again in smaller tournaments they've been part of, they've managed to make their way through to finals. They have played under those. Half the server will go home tomorrow. The other one will stay to play another day. Now, do they win when they go up against the likes of FaZe and all these top teams? Most often, no. But they get there. They get to those final 16, and I want to see them be able to bring something home today, having a first day of the tournament for them today.
Nice.
Just to intersect that, actually, that's something that's really important online, is making it through the qualifier stage, and that's something that historically has been a massive discussion point around some big teams not being able to make it through an online lobby. We talk about teams like Tempo Storm of old in NNA. Really struggled qualifying online for regional events. So I think it's a really good point that Toby makes, actually.
Yeah, definitely so. And gentlemen, before we actually do get into our first game, just so everyone knows out there as well, we'll be playing the same map order as yesterday. Miramar, Sanhok, and then 3 Erangel RE remastered. So that's going to be fun times. Gentlemen, I've got to ask you for your predictions as to who you believe is going to do well today. So I'm going to start with Mr. Toby over at the far end.
Best performance today will come from either Blaze or Nuclear Penguins.
Okay, the wild card. Go on. Go on.
I mean, for me, I was gonna go with Blaze as well, but I feel like that's a bit of a cop out now.
Sorry.
I guess for me, eyes are gonna be towards AR1. That's gonna be one for me to watch. I'm expecting them to do well again with always rank 1, I should say. Besiktas as well. Obviously, we had the academy team playing yesterday. So hopefully, the main roster can come in and show them how things are done following on from their performance yesterday.
And I will go for, even though I don't know if I'm supposed to predict or not, I'm going to go for Mutiny, which might sound like a bit of a strange choice after yesterday, but they played well in the open qualifiers. And I feel that maybe yesterday they got their footing a little bit after, getting used to our lobby. And maybe they'll be able to do well here for the next one. So we'll see, gentlemen. All right, thank you very much. We are going to go to a short break. And when we return, we are going to be going to Miramar with the boys, with Hypoc, with Toby. We'll see you in a few for DreamHack PUBG Showdown.
Love that the best
Welcome back, everyone. We are just about ready to get game number 1 started. For those of you guys tuning in just now, Toby here, joined by HyPUG. We'll be the ones guiding you through the action, of course, alongside the amazing host, Qualifiers. And today, A and C, HyPUG, we're in for two. We're in for 2 Miramar matches here. What is the... If you were... Okay, let's say there's a new viewer out there who's never played or seen competitive PUBG before. What is the number 1 Miramar only guideline you're going to give to him as a player?
Drop the vehicles after circle 3.
Drop the vehicles after circle 3.
That would be the only thing I'd say. Again, late game it's very circle dependent, but as we know, Miramar notoriously difficult to traverse some terrain in the vehicles. We see a lot of... we still see a lot of it, but early days PUBG, we saw people committing to vehicles way too late into the game. Unless you send it to a shack and whatnot, the foot rotation is usually around some of the terrain, and that's where we get these really interesting fights between ridges and stuff with teams. But I'd say at the competitive level, the teams that consistently do well on Miramar are the ones that aren't afraid to foot push teams, take fights in the open, and use the terrain best of their ability.
Mike, that's a lot of good guidelines for any new viewer out there. Maybe bring your notebook. Maybe there'll be more golden sentences dropped from HyPUG during the broadcast today. Another little thing. I'm thinking, Miramar. We're seeing some of these teams who probably haven't played against each other before. Is it worth? I mean, you've been through the meat grinder of online qualifiers, and you're playing day. Is it worth if you go like we are a Monte Nuevo looting team? And someone joins you, do you stick to it, or do you say, you know what? No, there's so many games to play.
I mean, there is this element with online where people will do things a bit differently to they maybe would do at a LAN event offline. But I think you need to make the allowance for that. Maybe be a bit more cautious of teams in the surrounding area. If you've done your homework on the lobby, so to say, it's much harder in an online lobby, I'd say, to keep track of rotation tendencies and reading teams effectively.
Makes perfect sense. Now, as you can see, guys, we are in game number 1 of the day. Again, that is Group A and Group C taking to the battlefield. So let's see. I mean, now we just talked about some of these guys might not have played each other before, might have run up against each other in the qualifiers. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see now, though. Are we going to have anyone hopping on top of each other, or will we not?
Well, actually, interesting enough, this is the sort of plane that's actually interesting to see in an online lobby, Toby, just because we're going to have a couple of audible drops here. People might be, not able to get to their looting, their typical looting spot. Again, this being a bit of a mix and match lobby as well, there's going to be teams that don't know the backup drops for some of these. So knowing that, for example, Diamond going to Los Leones, Another team might not know that, or Diamond might not know that another team's audible drop on this plane is actually going to be south of them. So reading these lobbies is going to be exceptionally difficult on a plane that's this far south.
Exactly, and that's one of the things. Also, if you look at big city loot spots, which is usually your magnet for, okay, here we can loot safe at least. You tend to not want to split too much, I take it, in open lobbies, because as you said, I mean, there's too many random factors that could potentially play against you. All the cities, like proper cities outside of Los Leones, and oh my lord, that's an Eastern Circle. To finish on the thought, all the cities are further north, right? At least center or north. So there's a lot of split looting going on right now.
I mean, again, this is one that you can expect a couple of your You can expect a couple of your teams to read this effectively. That the north side's going to be relatively uncontested. Whether or not we see any early moves here, obviously a lot of the teams did drop towards the western side of this plane path. Whether or not anybody's going to be able to react quickly enough to get round to that north side, round to Azahar, things like that, it's going to give them a lot of room in the mid game. We did have a bit of a cluster around Los Leones, and that's going to be my concern through Circle 1, Toby.
Yeah, looking at rotation paths into this circle, I mean, La Bandita, you probably don't want to jump through that. You can go underneath, but then again, you're leading yourself into a field, and those compounds are out there, quote unquote, at least in the European side of things, the ENS compounds are amazing to get a hold of, but unless if you rotate at like the 2 or 3 minute marker, which is essentially now, you're most likely not going to get them without a fight, right? You can see Flammy getting looted up here. He's in a position that normally you wouldn't consider that valuable early on, at least, but because the circle is as far east as it doesn't have of it is water, it might actually be pretty damn good to play there. Yeah,
and it's interesting thing you say as well with a couple of these teams, calling things like the ENS compound and Liquid Hill and things like that. We do see some of these teams, applying kind of like a mimic tactic to, this circle. Liquid are particularly good at it, and they play this compound. And in this lobby, you could have 2 or 3 different teams say, actually we've seen Liquid do this. Let's go and fight for this compound. Let's try and take ourselves some space. And again, it's a viable strat in this, but relying on things like that once we get to the grand final stage is going to be a big question mark.
You can easily copy other team strategies. They'll just don't always try and do it if you're in the same lobby as them. That can normally get a little messy. Well, I've literally seen FaZe Clan jump every single Liquid jump in games where Liquid weren't there, because it was like, I mean, it's in a position and it's open. Might as well just go take it.
You might as well. Absolutely. We can see a couple of teams kind of migrating north. We've got Zenith actually coming a bit past the Bandita towards Minas. We do have Besiktas looking like they wanted to pick up one of their teammates, but thinking better of that, taking some fire from over the northwest, I think. But they are going to get themselves this compound for free, and this compound gives a lot of vision to the west. But as we've seen in competitive PUBG previously, very easy to push from that big rock on the eastern side. If another team pulls up on the eastern side of that, they can get a lot of information for free on this compound, Toby.
Yeah, that alongside with, we know these rocks around phase 4 tend to be the counter magnets that you don't want to be too close to, because circles tend to go away from there. But now again, having said that, we have a lot of other factors playing some pretty big roles right now with this circle. Of course, water being a pretty damn big portion of it. Looking down towards, I think it's Entropic and Blaze. They could potentially be heading off against one another. Yep, we can see, Rip and Lassa, they're heading out of that. Don't want any piece of it. And I think it makes perfect sense. I mean, is it worth to try and take a fight against a team outside the circle when you could be, especially in a circle like this, trying to get something more valuable? Yeah, no.
Then the other thing is you've got to take into account is the time. On a plane path like this, in a circle like this, time is a massive factor for these teams. And ultimately, even if you're just going to trade back, 2 or 3 shots and try and slow somebody in rotation, you're only shooting yourself in the foot.
And for the most part, in a circle like this, you'll be rotating through fields. The more of those compounds and the more the smaller houses that are taken, the less the chance that you'll be surviving if you're spending too much time in a vehicle at this point. We'll see, though. This circle has a lot of potential outcomes for the sake of everyone. I hope we go away from the water. But even if we do, we're looking at junkyard circles. I want to see you get away, but I'm not sure if you're going to be able to do so. Somehow, Bogdanila is still alive and without having taken any damage. But as I said, the more time you spend in those vehicles on these type of circles, the bigger your chance of dying is.
Yeah, and we've actually got one of the members of Relegats here, Subcannon, actually further down the road. I'm not sure if Killstill has actually called out that information, but Bogdanila actually lucky not to lose his life. I think actually always rank 1, rotated as 4 up to that church. So they got themselves there pretty early. You can see the position on the map here. The rest of Relegate's down to the south, and we do actually have I can't quite make out that logo, Toby, but another team actually coming north on this eastern road along the seaside.
And I think that's exactly how I want to be playing it right now. Try and see if you can line up potential rotation kills. There are so many. There are so many
Look
paths
at this
into
cluster.
this, and this is madness. This is madness. Teams are splitting out to try and take some of these kind of roadblock positions, and as you can see, it's paying out well for some. And it seemed like Entropic already lost 2. That is a tough start.
I mean, now Relegates are in a position where they're depending on where this next circle goes, they're just going to be bouncing between teams on this eastern road. They've got themselves sandwiched now with a team down to the south. Obviously, always rank 1 or they're kind of camping the curve in the road there at the church. But it's going to be really difficult for any team now to even consider moving up this eastern road.
Yeah, Entropic, they do manage to get Hawk and a teammate down towards the Hawk and double, I believe it is, down towards there. But as you can see, everyone else fighting their way through, and they coasted. Oh, Rip finding a triple in the vehicle. You were talking about how Entropy had a tough day yesterday and needed to step it up today. That is not how you want to start your day too.
No, nice. So again, didn't see it, but Blaze picking up again, talking about rotation kills on Miramar. Difficult to reverse once you start taking damage. It's so difficult to break line of sight with a team once they're spraying down your vehicle, and that there is a perfect example where early game you can really get caught out.
Yep, sure as hell can. Besiktas are making their way on in. Sucker driving right next to them. Seems like he will be able to get out of sight. As I say that, shots are fired, but Lirunt can't connect. They will be able to get away, and it's always scary. I mean, the buggies are great for maneuvering in these tricky terrains, but have one tire pop, and all of a sudden, you'll be wishing you had something else to try.
Yeah, and just for our viewers, the Besiktas main lobby is the purple one that we just saw on the screen there. We did see Besiktas Academy, which is the yellow on the map. You can see them down there, just over to the eastern side of Bendita, eastern side of the road, actually towards Impala. They're the yellow team on your screen. So a bit confusing there. We did see a Besiktas, but meanwhile, actually on the eastern road here, Relegates again. We have another team. Who are you pushing up on the southern side of their compound, but taking a lot of fire. You can see a lot of shots coming down from the north as well. So they're going to be in again very tricky position now to get sandwiched in between 2 teams on this road. You don't have any option. You have to come back south to go in west. There's no option to come north here, Toby.
And that's the main issue, right? Because if the circle starts going towards the west, which it very easily could, I mean, probably will at some point, unless if we do go out to the islands, which would make my first ever casting of island game, by the way. So I do kind of hope to see that happen. Then you have to traverse through all these teams, and it's, I don't want to say impossible, but you have to fight, and you have to fight a lot, and you won't have any time to reset. BenQ5 seeing 1, 2, 3. Now probably seeing 4. He's gonna start shooting. Oh no! Bullets being whiffed. That's not what you want to have happen. Does finally get the knock, but can't get around the corner to get the flush.
He's gonna try and send the nade out for this though. Invest in the nade to try and get this flush out. I think he should be able to break LOS here, unless this second nade catches him, because BenQ5 is actually taking some pressure from the north. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get that res. It does look like the rest of his teammates have abandoned, so he's going to be left there to bleed out. This circle did actually pull down to the southwest, Toby, which actually leaves Besiktas Academy dead center in that compound we saw them take early.
See Blaze in an amazing position now as well. Already now, and to be fair, they probably want to start thinking, we got to start like prioritizing which compounds we want to play, because in other circles, it would have been fine that you can split out the way they're doing right now. But because there's still so much quote unquote unplayable terrain in this circle, you have to treat this phase 2 as a potential phase 3 or even phase 4, because there are only so many compounds available in that field.
Yeah, and another thing that this circle does actually, they're actually trying to get some damage onto a rotating team past them to the north side, but looking like they're going to avoid, they're going to crash into him here. So Quantum will hold on to the compound, but I was just saying that this circle actually eases up some of the congestion we had on the eastern road, Toby.
I mean, I'm looking at this right now. Oh no, Reds, you're seeing the bonus all over. And I was just gonna say, we lost 10 players now, and other than Reds going down, has anyone died that wasn't trying to get away in a vehicle yet? I mean, everyone.
Pretty much everyone in rotation. Yeah,
exactly. It's all people to try and hold up rotations. And unfortunately, as we saw there, when you miss your bullets, you need to connect. That usually means you go down and return.
And yeah, and again, for the third time now, we're going to be talking about how difficult it is to choose your pathing through this terrain on Miramar. There can be a team huddled as 4 into a dip that you drive past, and again, you have no opportunity to break LOS. As soon as you get close to some of these compounds, you have really, really wide open spaces around them. We're talking about Besiktas compound earlier to the west. All of that space is open. You can just pressure any team coming into it.
And a big thing to that, and something we haven't really discussed too much, is these teams you don't have that one team that, at least on paper, is much better than the other. So I don't feel like any of these teams, other than Blaze, were still maintaining that 3-way split, which I think is extremely greedy, but it might end up paying off. We don't really have the daring teams in this lobby, to me at least. A lot of them are passive, rotate first, shoot after type teams. Now, we do see one go down. Academy do get a knock on sub-cannon as well, but we don't have that one really daring team. So teams really make space for each other by saying, "Oh no, they're coming. Let's back off," and therefore it's just so much more cramped, and it's just like just a pool of oil waiting to get lit.
Well, actually, it's your stronger teams that identify. We can be greedy. Circles 1, 2, and 3. No, if these teams see shots here, they're not going to crash us, and that's a massive confidence boost to be able to govern that amount of spaces. We do actually see Besiktas main roster now lighting up, picking up some kills onto Always Rank 1 over by the church here. Surprised actually, Always Rank 1 didn't move out of this earlier. We did talk about them getting there as 4 in Circle 1, Toby, and now it seems to be their demise.
Yeah, this is going to be tricky. They opted to rotate north around, and while they're still alive with 3, it's they aren't down by the next circle. A new one is popping before they even get inside the one we're playing right now, and there's already at this point not a single compound available. I'm pretty sure of it. I mean, especially with the way that some teams are splitting still, it's going to be extremely difficult for them to find anywhere to call their own. Yeah,
they've got to find some terrain or something to see another circle. Unfortunately, now I think we're going to see another couple of teams crash into Impala, just because it's the last of the bad decisions that you can make in this circle. There's nothing viable to do. You can see one of Blaze coming down south now. That's going to open up. I think that's a 2-story and a 1-story, that compound that I didn't see which Blaze member it was, but that should give Zenith a way in. Zenith should have scouted that already, and they should be making that move very shortly. But again, that closes off the north side of the circle. It only gives teams an option to come down east into Impala.
Exactly. Just look at the split, right? If you draw a line through the middle, like horizontally, there is literally one team south, and that is Trico on his own, playing arguably one of the best compounds in this circle, because we know the next one's going to shift away from the mountain on Impala. It's going to go to Trico, and he's sitting by himself trying to hold off, having lost 3 of his teammates earlier. Bogdan, I want to see you land that shot. That was a close one, but no, not going to happen.
There's a team encroaching right behind him. You can see on the minimap, here we go. Trying to get the damage onto the bike as well. He's gonna get the knock as well. Kills him off the bike. Oh, so again, just being a bit overzealous there, taking the shots of the team rotating past him, and actually the rest of Austrian force was actually just laying in wait, listening to those shots.
That's impressive. They waited for the guy to get on the vehicle again, and there you have it. Mutiny falls immediately. Unfortunately for Calaris, his pick goes down early. That's a bit of a cursed team, I guess.
But we did actually have 5 teams outside on this side of the circle, and that's who Zenny, who actually the last member of Always Rank 1 here, trying to put some damage onto Austrian force. Back into this vehicle, he's going to land the shots there. We'll get the kill. Justice is going to get the flush onto that. So massively frustrating to die like that. This is a team that they picked apart over at the church. I think it was actually Besiktas, not Austrian force, but again, just caught with another team outside the circle with these scrappy rotation fights.
Really, really tough to have to take these fights miles out in the blue. Because the thing is, nobody really wants to do that. Nobody wants to be sitting in blue, but they're forced to. It's like we're constantly tripping over each other. At some point, there's just too many bodies around you that you have to deal with and take the fight. Now let's see, Circle is closing in, and here we have Zenith. They found themselves a pretty decent center position. The compound that we saw, I believe it was Rip leaving earlier from Blaze. They opted to go 2-2 instead of 2-1-1.
And actually, if I can be a little bit critical, a bit late on that move there. Zenith, we talked about this, 90 seconds ago now, and they've left it this late to come in. Now, with a lack of information about, where the players are playing in the compounds around them. Not that I expect them to make another big move. See Kino getting a knock onto Zoka there, but definitely in these online lobbies, you need to be quick to react to people moving out of rotations like that. Obviously, like we know, Blaze was split. If they only see one vehicle drive away, that should give you the information that they're regrouping.
Exactly. This next circle should go towards the southwest. Let's see. Indeed, it does. Straight over to Blaze. And this is where I want to see Apocalypse. And they get in those cars and get the hell over towards
Look at the east side. Look at the east side.
It's impossible. Because the issue is you have to drive through Impala. That's not going to happen. Everyone will be playing on foot. And the thing is, you can't get out. I mean, there's going to be one team surviving east of where Trico is. There's going to be 1 or 2 teams surviving coming into this next circle.
Yeah, I mean, the only team right now, long range K9 shot coming out from sub cannon does actually spot the player out in the top window there. But the only team really right now, Besiktas have an option to take that dirt road around the south side of the big rock formation that we have next to Impala. But all of these teams, you can see just where the circle cuts off on the edge and the western side edge of Impala. We're gonna have all of these teams kind of forced into nothing really playable. There's no building playable on the edge of Impala here, so we're not gonna have, you know, all these teams congregate around one building and fight for it. We're gonna have everybody move out into the open. I think Relegat's gonna make this early move to the oil tankers. Yeah, I like this. Get out, dodge early. They know that there's gonna be a lot of congestion behind them.
Yep, they were gonna find themselves straight in the kind of in the eye of the tornado had they decided to stay, and they opted to go out early. They probably really would have wanted what then would have been an instant kill on Trico of the compost. They're gonna try and breach on it, but no, they opted to go down south towards the silos. I think it's a smart play. Just get yourself that little step further. At least now you have a spot inside the circle. Next one can still go anywhere, so you could get really lucky with the southeast hard shift. But you're now outside of Impala, and you won't have to fight 6 teams at the same time. You might get to find 2 wounded teams, and instead of potentially finding 4 kills and go down yourself as well, you can get 3 kills and keep all 4 lives.
Yeah, and at this point, it's just about finding kill points.
Yes.
If you're in a situation now where you know the circle's not good for you, you know you can have a really difficult time. Actually, we do see Zenith pulling south out of the compound we did have, so I do like this move. This is proactive. I like the fact that Zenith are looking for something further into the circle. They're not just saying, look, we're in on the hard edge on the north side here. Let's settle for this. They've actually brought a couple of players down south on the road, and actually this spot that they've picked can actually lead to a couple of kills coming into the late game. But as I was just saying, right now, I want to see teams kind of saying, look, you know, we're absolutely screwed in terms of the circle. Let's try and find ourselves a team fight and pick up some kill points. Yeah,
you got to commit to engagements at this point. And you're not only that, but you got to finish those fights quickly, because you won't be the only team looking to go somewhere. Now let's see, Keanu sprays for 1-1. Find him. Nixis is down to low HP. Get headshot in the vehicle. There are 2 in that car. Can they get the blow up? That's 2 points right there. Kyle's going to run low. 1-4 goes as well. Keanu. Nice spray down coming in there.
Taking down 2 of them there. BenQ5 and Nixie will fall at the shack. We do have 1 more member of Diamond. I think actually Zorf stealing that kill from afar onto BenQ5. So going to lose out 1 of the kill points there. But the last remaining member of Diamond, they're desperately looking for him. Mamek has found himself a little dip. Put himself some smoke cover down. You can see he's huddled next to his Bronco right on the edge of the circle here. So I'm fully expecting the team... sorry, who are you to push up and close this out? But we do have the Nuclear Penguins looking like they want to get aggressive on it as well.
And they have to. That's the thing, right? I mean, as you said, you got to take what you can at this point. You're not going to get that perfect spot in the circle. Let's see, Sorf is looking over the top. He's going to see opponents. And also remember, it's phase 4. If you get knocked out here, you ain't going to make your way alive inside. Always rank 1, full in 14th. And it's going to go, I mean, it's going to go complete apeshit in just a moment. Things are going to get really crazy.
Yeah, and you get to see the kill feed. It's just a constant scroll now of names. You can see Blaze picking up another kill as well. We do have Kiliyaki. Gonna die to the blue there. Just desperately looking for a kill point before he did fall. Look at the kill feed, Toby. It's just it's popping off everywhere.
This is Impala getting completely cleared out. This is the cleansing of the eastern city, and I mean there's just nothing you can do. Everyone trying to make a way forward. I feel like the blue is doing more damage right now than guns are.
Actually, Besiktas Academy picking up a lot of the knocks there, and actually had a few stolen away. I was expecting to see them on like 8 or 9 kills by now, but did see them lighting up the knocks in the kill feed there. But a lot of the teams from Impala obviously stealing those kill points away. You know, Besiktas main roster elsewhere getting a knock onto Lipson on Blaze, so it's going to be interesting to see if that breaks out into a fight. But you can see now Besiktas Academy looking up. They're trying to clean up these kill points. This is what I like to see: being proactive, trying to be decisive, and pick these up quickly before you have to move on.
Also, in the end of the day, I mean, it's only 12 games you get to play, right? In a tournament where you'll, I mean, it's effectively going to be 18, but it won't be part of the other 6. So every kill you can get here is really going to be the difference maker to me.
It is, yeah, it is. And we've seen time and time again, you know, final standings come down to a matter of 2 or 3 points. Right now, it could be, you know, even just going 2-2 like this, it could be a deciding factor for them.
Yeah, I mean, and we always go, oh, it's the final game. They need to get 6 kills. Well, if you can make that final game be now we only need 2 kills instead, that's your chance to do it now. The better you do early on, the less pressure you have on your shoulders coming in late. And especially, as Calaris was saying earlier, today, some of these teams that are coming into day 2 now are having a tough day 1. They need everything they can possibly get here.
Actually, I think we're going to see the last member of Who Are You fall to the blue here. Yeah, Fear Redbeard will go down there. So Who Are You going out in 10th place. 9 teams remaining now. So we're getting close to... Oh, some nice tags actually coming out from Laza there, from Blaze. Up to 4 kills. This is when, again, 25 players alive now. You haven't really got the opportunity to pick up too many kill points. It's going to come down to maybe one team fight between a couple of teams here that's going to really close this game out. But not even into the placement points yet, Toby.
And this is where you said earlier you want to see people play on foot, and I'm thinking there's still too many valuable high rise compounds in that you simply can't do it. You got to bring the Bronco around because you need it for cover so desperately.
Yeah, and this is actually what I love about Milbar. This circle here, lots of open space. If this was half a kilometer over to the west, we would have Bendito. We do actually see Grown getting the knock onto Relegast there. Actually getting the second one on. He is going to get traded out. So now we're actually trading back another 2 knocks going towards Besiktas Academy. So Grown and Ruan will fall. It's just Taco left for the Academy. Relegast looking like they're going to try and recover here with the revive.
4 Molotovs.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he can get close enough. These could be free kills for him here. Just using the utility. You're going to send one nade out. Try and stick the rest. That nade looks good. He's going to get the knock onto it. Now Subcannon goes down again. Go ahead, Eagle. He looks like he's going to try and hold an angle here. I'm not sure if he knows if the revive is getting stuck here. Looks like he's going to get a little bit aggressive here. Does get some good damage. He's going to get the knock on Taco now. 1 member left, and there you go. We'll clean them up. That is a nice double coming in for Goody. Now, he does lose his teammate, but not only does he stay alive, it effectively becomes a 3-point double kill because he gets into top 6 as well. So really nice. Not only getting the first 2 knocks initially, backs off, gets the rest. Unfortunately, he falls once more, but able to get the double again. That is not an easy thing to do, especially when you're on your own like that. So nice play there. There might be even a position for him to rotate into on the south side of this circle. Yeah, and actually, Zenith's position, making that move out south. We did see Anonymous, Mystery, and Flammy all come down to the south side of the compound, leaving Roth on the north side. And you can see how many favors that's done for them now. Already up to 6 kills, so already bagged themselves a nice little stack of points already now that we're into placement. Hopefully, going to be able to pick up some kills in the open here towards the late game. Roth getting a knock onto 69 Horseman 69. Interesting name.
I think it's just Horseman. I mean, you can say whatever.
I would rather say the 69s, but that's obviously just me.
His name is 69, and the Horseman is just kind of filler.
Maybe yeah, that's just the filler. Yeah. That's the filler.
I like it. Now, if you're in Zenith's spot right now, I think they're aware that there should be very few teams left on the eastern side, but they need to take control. They cannot let people close in towards them. They want to finish this game off effectively in the middle of the next phase. They don't want to allow anyone to push down that hill. You need to take control. So I like what we're seeing with Flammy constantly peeking over. Should they get knocked, they can go down, they can get the rest, because they know as long as they can maintain pressure, they can rotate to flush.
I mean, with Roth over on the north side, actually gives them a lot of control of this. He has good sight lines down to the southwest, and this other team pushing in. Obviously, Domination team, who are still 4 up. One is knocked right now, but they don't really have an option into the circle with Roth playing this anchor position for Zenith.
Let's see, Apocalypse. He is pushing forward. Found a little blind angle for him to run down towards the next stack of hay bales. Every single hay bale could be the deciding factor on whether he gets to stay alive for the next circle or not. He has found himself a new spot. Still 4 alive. Level 3 vest barely touched as well. These guys have really been enjoying the compound. And as you can see, they're continuing to find kill 7 already.
Yeah, that's it. This is looking like and again, early positioning here, that wide split from Blaze paying off in the late game because they have a dominant position to play in from. Again, depending on this next circle, it's going to be between Zenith and Blaze. This one will pull slightly over to the northwest. So Zenith's going to be able to regroup. Blaze should have a spot to play in because we know the way this terrain works. It's going to be sloping to break LOS with Zenith.
And now one thing we didn't, I mean, it goes against what I was saying before, that you have to shoot and you have to be active all the time. But you saw the ammo. I think Lasso was at 20 spare bullets with an M4 and a mini. That is not optimal. 73 as well here. Let's see. Does he sneak over? He does. Ooh. Can't find him. Apocalypse falls. Go Ahead does get tacked up, but he finds the kill. 5th kill coming in for Go Ahead Eagle. Great play there to not only get the kill, peek on over, get the flush. Well, now he spots Apocalypse. That's a massive knowledge getting there.
Yeah, getting this info now, he knows he's going to be able to... And again, if he can down Anonymous here, it could lead to a... Oh, lovely headshot though from Anonymous. All I was going to say there, if he gets this down onto Anonymous, it's actually going to lead to a second kill if somebody comes for the Reds as well. So massive information just from that small peak there. But Roth did fall for Zenith, but they are up to 7 kills now. So they need to reset here, take control of the ground that they have.
I want to see how much damage this remaining player on the east side of the road can do to them. I don't think Zenith is neither expecting or know that there's still a guy out here. And they have one looking that way, and I think that's a great Anonymous. He's like, guys, we might not have seen or heard anything for the last 2 minutes, but this is Miramar. There are snakes in the grass. You gotta look. You gotta be, especially when you're still 3 guys up. You gotta commit one to saying, you know what? It's just for the next 50 seconds. Once the circle is down on the road, we don't have to care about that at all anymore. But we have to wait to make sure that no one's gonna backstab us. Yeah,
and you can actually see Mystery actually stacking up here next to Anonymous. It looks like they still want to keep control of the eastern side of the road, so they should get an order. Actually, no, as I say that, they're going to pull back across and split a little bit. But I was going to say, if they're playing close enough, they might get an audio cue that somebody is over the other side of this ridge. Now it's going to be problematic for them because you can see the angle that this solo is going to have on the Mystery. Still looking back over this, so he is aware of it. But they're now out in the open if this player decides to take shots.
I like the player from Zenith get across the road so you don't have to deal with that later. Should somebody else try and push on over. They still have one with eyes in the back. And as you can see that as soon as Mystery and Anonymous started peeking towards the field, Flammy instantly turned around. Communication is there. There's never not one looking towards these. And now finally they get eyes on, they get the kill as well. And that, because it's instant, should be a sigh of relief. Now we only have to worry about this 180 degrees.
Yeah, great heads-up play from Zenith there. Again, maintaining control of both sides. Flammy actually getting another knock. And actually, the white onto domination. So now we're just down to 2 teams. Mystery will get the opening knock onto Blades as well. Laser fall into the Mini 14 headshot.
2 teams left alive, 2 on their feet right now, but the snake in the grass finds one. Lipson gets the first. Mystery is there trying to get the rest up onto Flammy, and they should know exactly where he is. Rip is pushing forward. Groza in hand too. And there you go. The double comes in. 12 kills for Blaze to start the day.
Yeah, fantastic work from them. Early positioning, paying off massively for them. That greedy split, maybe not so greedy, a bit calculated there, Toby.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, they knew what they were doing, and they constantly had eyes on all sides. Yep, Rip. He not only do you get the center compound, you also have a crate land literally right next to where you are. I mean, it couldn't work out any better for them. They get some circles, but in all fairness, when they had to push out in the end, they picked the right time to do so. You saw Rip. He was the one to push, like kind of left, right, strafe his way down towards that stack of hay bales. That gave them a place to go, and from there they started spreading out and taking control. Really impressive plays.
Yeah, great stuff from them.
So overall, really interesting first game. We are going to have one more game of Miramar coming up after this one, guys. But do us a favor, stick around. There's going to be a short break, and then we'll be back and ready with Clarice once more in just a few.
Let's take this underground. You want that other sound? I've got the best around. Nobody ties me down. Don't wanna mess with me. I'm dangerous, you see. Nobody disagrees. I bring the cavalry. I'm at the top, you know. So far from head to toe. Let's swing from hot to low. So hot, so free, 'cause I got that. Let loose, just let it go. Don't need nobody, no. Sit back and watch the show. So hot, so free, 'cause I got that. I got that other stuff. You wanna fall in love? Let me sit next to ya. One look, I'll make you blush. I'll never fade away. My spirit never breaks. No rules that I obey.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the DreamHack PUBG Showdown. That is game 1 for the day in the books. I have Toby as well as Hypoc here with me. Gentlemen, that was actually, in fact, even compared to yesterday, we keep getting these action-packed Miramar games where it's just kind of non-stop from the word go. And obviously the first circle lends itself to that, right, Toby? You've got a little bit of water in there. You've got less room to work with. So a great game to start things off.
It was, and I gotta ask, did we put wagers on our predictions?
You know what? Just ignore that. Breeze over that one. Just, you know, don't ask me about prediction.
I tend to be the one that always comes out with the whole speech of how the underdog is gonna go out and win, and then they never do. So I'm feeling your pain.
Oh, indeed. And how about yourself, Hypoc? Looking at how that game started off and kind of just kept going and kept going. Big kill numbers for teams like Blaze and Zenith.
Yeah, and actually, you know, looking back, I think it was as Circle 2 was closing in, me and Toby mentioned it, there was like 15 people that died and there wasn't a single team fight or there wasn't a single crash. Like no compounds had been pushed or anything like that. It was just absolute madness up on the north side. And then we had another 5 teams having to come down the eastern road. Just, I mean, it's a rough start for some of these teams to over-rotate and then die in rotation. But the end game was pretty exciting. We did see a nice fight coming out between Zenith and Blaze at the end there.
It actually doesn't help for a lot of the teams in Group A, Toby, that not many of them really made it high up in the leaderboards, and when they did, they got 0 kills. It's really only Relegates that's been able to make a dent, and maybe Academy with the 7 kills that they got.
I can't help but think, I mean, we said it right off the bat, Entropy had a tough day. They need to step it up. You instantly see Rip get a triple kill. I assume it was a vehicle explosion because all the kills came in back to back to back. And then you see Trico literally in the best position in the entire game on his own. It's like, oh, have we just rotated differently? We would have had 4 people, center position, first game of the day where we need to do good. Oh, that's gotta be a feels bad, man.
Thoughts, Hypoc?
I mean, yeah, just a second that it's always difficult, you know, to look back at that and just say, you know, if all 4 of us had got to the spot that I was in, we would have had a better game. But, you know, some of the post analysis on that is going to be really simple. Maybe just looking to be a bit more cautious with rotations. I don't think there should ever be a scenario where Circle 1, 3 of you are dying in a vehicle, but it's just something you learn. The more comp PUBG you play, you learn where not to drive and not to stack 3 people in a vehicle and drive that daringly. But it's a shame to see because, you know, I think they would have had a good opportunity had they had 4 up in that spot.
Yeah. I think as well, if you look at the game overall, coming back to that vehicle explosion and how things went through this game, it feels like Rip was undoubtedly the MVP of this game. Is that fair to say, Toby?
I mean, he showed all aspects of what it takes to be a good player. Not only did he get the last 2 kills of the game, obviously you could argue those are the 2 most important kills that you get in any game, but he gets the kills early, goes to show we have presence. He was also the one to take the compound furthest away from his teammates. So he is the not expandable one, but he's the one the team knows. He knows when to come to us. He knows how to come to us. Have you parked your vehicle right for an easy escape? I mean, he's the one that has to do, I guess you can say, the most because he's on his own for the most time. So that, alongside with the fact that he gets as many kills as he does, goes to show that he did a pretty damn good job.
I mean, that's actually a really good point to make because playing that anchor role, it's very, very easy to kind of get overzealous and say, actually, you know, I'm picking up kills here, playing way out split. I'm going to commit to it. So knowing when to regroup is actually a massively underrated trait for a good player like that. So being able to kind of overextend and then know when to come back, it's actually really impressive to see. And it's actually paid off massively for him in that first game.
All right, we're going to go to a break here. Thank you very much, gentlemen. And I believe one of you did predict Blaze. I can't remember who.
I wanted to. But I let Toby have it. So.
Okay, all right. It's a good start. It's a good start, gentlemen, apart from for me. All right, we're going to go to a short break. And when we return, we're going to get into our next game of Miramar. We'll have a little chat about that map number 2 right after this.